Hi folks, I hope you're well. Well, earlier this evening I walked to Asda and got some shopping, and as I walked back I walked past the church that I went to on Sunday. They have a sign outside saying everyone's welcome. And I had to smile because the answer is no, that is not true. Not everyone is welcome. You're only welcome to that church if you are of this world. Not most churches. If you are of this world and you don't care about being of God, then you're completely welcome in churches. So, yeah, I had to think, okay. I suppose they have to write everyone's welcome, even though they're not, because otherwise they'd be counted as discriminating against people. But yeah, it's a lie. It's a lie. The message outside is not true because everyone is not welcome. But there you go. Yeah. Well, that's always been the case for church. There's always been a sign on the door saying everyone's welcome. But then, yeah, the thing of it is that you're only welcome if you're happy to do things according to the will and ways of church. If you want to walk in a different way to church, then you're not welcome. That is a reality. You won't be welcome to church. And so, yeah. Well, as I say, that's why, when I said, and I said a long time ago, first said, that when God tells me to go to the churches, I won't be going to any church in Elgin. I didn't know all the churches at that point in time. I'd never been to the Moray Coast Baptist Church. I'd never been to the Vineyard Church. Those are two churches that I'd never entered. Didn't even know they were there. But I was right. I was right. And the reason I was right is quite simple. Is because you know. If most of the churches, if you go to an area and the churches in the area are very much worldly, you know you will not find a church in the area that is trying to do things according to God. You won't find one. The reason why you know that is because if one church is doing it, that challenges the other churches in the area to do it. Because if one church is trying to do things according to God, then God will meet them halfway. And they will start to see things happening. And I'm not talking about, because again, people think things happening is, we've just had COVID, we just had a time within the world where people's hope went down the bloody drain. So now people are suffering more from a lack of hope than they ever were. And that means that people go to church. That does not mean that God is meeting you halfway. The fact that there's more bums on seats, the fact that a church is filling, doesn't mean a darn thing. What it means is a church being filled. Years ago, we had community centres. Now we don't. Church is now the community centre for most areas, so therefore people want to be in a community centre. People want to be in a place where they feel part of something and where they can feel good about themselves. So again, a lot of good little Christians are good little Christians for what reason? Is it because they're serving God? No. It's because people look at them and think, oh, they're so lovely. What a lovely person. When I was in that situation and again, people will not understand this. They will not understand it. I keep trying to explain, and the reason why I keep saying it is because I hope that people will actually understand it. When I was learning to stand, when I had that 8 months, and I believe that 8 months was about me having a wife at the end of it, and that wife being Mrs. B. Right, okay. I never knew she was a Mrs. at the time. Okay. No, I did actually. At the point of the 8 months, yes, I did. Yeah. Originally, I didn't. But then I believe that God was saying that, okay, she's married the wrong person, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, fine. Or that would be the implication of God saying that she's supposed to be your wife, is that she's married the wrong person. I don't believe that God actually had that conversation with me, saying to me that she married the wrong person. But when I started to realise that she's very much a good little Christian, oh my God. That was one of the times that I fell. That is one of the times that I fell into the crap. Because the whole idea of marrying someone who's a good little Christian, no. I can't imagine. I'd rather marry someone who is an OnlyFans person, who does OnlyFans, who shows her body, who shows her breasts and vagina and even her butt on OnlyFans. I'd rather marry someone like that than marry a good little Christian. Because a good little Christian, no. They're trying to look the part. Look, not be, look. And it's like, ugh, that is horrible. Now again, I can't tell you that Kylie was that person. I can't say that she was actually a good little Christian. I can tell you that there were signs, there were red flags there saying that this is who she was. Now, whether that's who she is, I don't know. There were a lot of signs saying that that's who she is. A lot of signs, a lot of red flags. But I can't say that that's who she still is or that's even who she was. I can simply say that's what I saw because that was what I saw. I can't say more than that because, again, I don't know. But seeing that, imagining that God was saying to me, this is your wife. Yeah, yeah. That made standing on that possibility, on that promise that she would be my wife, well, basically, actually, again, it wasn't. The promise was never that she'd be my wife. The promise was that I would have that loving relationship. Now, again, I assumed that loving relationship meant human, which means as I'm not gay, it must mean a wife because I'm not gay. If I was gay, it could be a man. But I'm not gay, so therefore it'd have to be a woman, therefore it'd have to be a wife. Okay? But that wasn't what God was saying, because God was talking about relationship with him. Learning to walk as a son. That's what he was saying. Being in relationship with Father God. Being in love with Father. I thought that what he meant was, because of course, why on earth would I think any different than if he's telling me that I'm going to be in love and I'm going to have that loving relationship, obviously I'm going to be thinking it must mean wife. It must mean. But it didn't. So the whole idea that it must mean wife and this woman, and therefore seeing what I was seeing, I was like, oh, the worst possibility.